Good morning, dear students. Welcome to another session of Introduction to Data Structures and Algorithms. So in previous session, we started a discussion with respect to linked list, and we observed what is the difference between an array and a linked list, how these two are different. And then we observed what are a few of the terms which are associated with linked list, like what is meant by a node, what it consists of, what are the pointers relevant for. So this part is required because we'll be looking forward for the implementation of the linked list. So just a recap of yesterday's session, what we had. So here we have a node, which is referred to this. So it will be consisting of two parts. That is, one is info, which contains the data element, and one is the next part, which is actually contains the address of the next node. And we discussed, apart from that, we discussed what is the pointer which is named as first, and what is the pointer which is named as last. So these two are special pointers in which first holds the address or the address pertaining to the beginning of the list, and last holds the address pertaining to the end of the list. So these are a few things pertaining to the linked list. So then we observed what are the advantages, disadvantages, and how these elements are stored in the memory, whether it occupies the contiguous memory locations or not. So these are the aspects what we had discussed in the previous session. Now let us look at implementation of the linked list. So first thing what we observe in implementation is we need to declare the list node. We have to declare the list node and define the operation which performs the linking aspect. So these are the two aspects what we have to look forward when we are implementing the linked list. So first we have to declare the node and then link it with the other nodes if they are present. So these are a few things what we have to look out when we are implementing the linked list. When we look into the declaration part of the node, so what all we have to think of, that is when we are declaring a node. So in order to declare a node, we make use of the structure declaration. So we can observe over here that we have made use of declaration with respect to structure. So in order to declare a structure, we make use of the keyword that is struct. This is the name of the structure. This is the name of the structure. So which is acting as a node in the linked list. So this entire thing will be acting as a node in the entire linked list. So here the name of the structure is node. And what are the two fields what we had discussed in the previous session? The two fields pertaining to a node are the info field and the next field. So this should contain the data element and this should contain the address information. So if we observe here, we have declared info and we are assuming that we'll be accepting integer data type. So in the info, this thing will be storing the data element, which will be of the integer type. Now, apart from this, so what is the other thing we have to declare? We have to declare a address parameter. That is, we have to declare a pointer. So which is identified by the next field. Now, what is this one? This one should be a pointer. Now, it should be a pointer to what? It should be pointer to a node. So here you can see that this entire thing is one node. This entire thing is one node. And here, if you just observe, this part should contain the address of the next node. So this should be pointing this data type. If you just observe, it should be pointing to the address of the node. Address of the node. So in order to declare this, what we do is we declare it as a pointer. So star next, we declare it as a pointer, which is star next, but it should be of what type? It should be pointing to the node data type. So which is actually what you are defining over here. So therefore struct node indicates that this next parameter which is there, it is, and the star which is present, it indicates that next is a pointer which points to data type of struct node. So if we declare integer data type, how it will be? Int star if we declare PTR. So what does this indicate? Star PTR indicates that PTR will be holding an address, and PTR is a pointer which will hold the address of the data type which is pertaining to integer. So now here what I should be doing, I should have a next field which points to the next node. So the next parameter is also a node value over there. So therefore what happens is we have to declare struct node, which is this user defined data type, struct node star next. So this is a address, this is a pointer which points to the data type which is defined by this, that is struct node. So these are the two field values or the parts what we had mentioned that one node will be having. Now what you specify is you have declared the structure variable. Now here what they are doing, you are defining a type def struct node, and you are using say capital letters node over here. So this is nothing but say if I write type def int and I write it as integer. So what this does is this gives an alternate name to this keyword. So int is actually a keyword. So in this case, what I'm doing is I'm giving an alternate representation for int, that is integer. So if I have to declare an integer variable, what I used to do, I used to write int a. So this is also fine. Now, if you have declared something in this form, then you can declare the same variable using the other keyword, that is what you have type defined. So integer a. So if this is the first statement and then you're following with this. So integer a tells that a is a data type of the integer. So type def is used for that purpose. So it is used so that you do not again repeat every time struct node. So just to avoid that, instead of using this term everywhere, wherever it is required, I'll be using the alternate word for that. So here I can write it, say just logically when you just specify, I can just write it as this parameter is can be represented with this term. It can be represented with this term. So that is what this type def is doing. So it is giving an alternate say name to the say the data type what you have declared over here. So this is the declaration part which is associated with the node, and in node you have two fields, info and the pointer, which is the next field. So here we are declaring it using the structure data type. So it is struct node. Here we are storing the integer. So this will be storing the data element and this will be storing the address of the next node. Since it has to point to the next node, then it should be a pointer which will be pointing to that data type. So in this case, it will be the struct node. And here what you're doing is you're just giving an alternate name to struct node. So instead of using struct node everywhere, you can just use node over here. So this is associated with the declaration of the node. Now here you can see that we have a statement that is struct node star next. And here if you just observe, this field is a pointer which is pointing to its own data type. So here we have struct node. So we call such kind of references as self-referential structures. So these structures are referred to as self-referencing structures because they have a pointer to themselves. In this case, if you just observe here, we have a pointer and this pointer holds the indication of the next element, and that element is of the type struct node. And this entire structure is struct node itself. So if we have something in this kind, we call those as self-referential structures. So structures that contain pointer references of their own type. So here next is a pointer which will be referencing to the next node, and that node is of the type struct node, and this struct node is actually its own kind. So this is termed as self-referential structure. Now, what are the operations we have to look forward when we are dealing with linked list? So as we had seen in the previous case also, these operations again hold true. So here we might look around for inserting the elements into the linked list, deleting an element from the linked list. Then if you want to search for specific element, we can go ahead with the searching aspect using the linked list. If you want to print all the elements which are present in the linked list. So these are just few operations what they have specified. Now let us look at these aspects a little bit in brief. So next one, what we have is the insert operation. So now in this case, when we are inserting any element into the linked list, so what we have to do? First, we have to reserve a memory space. So, and that memory space will be utilized by the new node what you will be creating. So that is what we had seen over here. Suppose I have only one node over here, and this is the new element what you want to add over here. So this is the data what you want to add in this linked list. So first what you do is for this entire node, you first allocate a memory location. You first allocate a memory location, and in that memory location, you store the info and the next field. So you update it as per the logical aspect what you observe, depending on where the element will be inserted. So in insert operation, first we reserve the memory space for the new node what is being created. And in this new node, you will be having again two parts. One is the info part and one is the next part. So in the info part, we store the data element. We store the data element, that is in the new node. We store the data element in the info part. And apart from this, what we have to do is we have to have the logical connection. We have to have the logical connection between the nodes. So if the new node is created, we update the info field with the element parameter, that is a data element, and then we have a logical connection with the help of the next field, which is present in the node declaration. So you maintain the logical connection between the nodes. So you connect the new node with the already existing nodes in the linked list. So this is what you have to perform when you are doing the insert operation. Now, when you're inserting data elements in the linked list, you will come across three possible scenarios. That is, depending on where the element is inserted. So if the element is inserted at the beginning, so there will be certain aspects what you have to look out for. So how the insertion goes ahead. If the element has to be added at the end of the list, so what all changes have to be included when we are adding it to the end of the list. Then if the element is inserted somewhere in between, then that is in between of the linked list, then what are the changes we have to incorporate so that the insertion is successful. So these are the three scenarios, that is insertion of the element at the beginning of the linked list, at the end of the linked list, and in between of the linked list. So these are the three scenarios what you have to take care. So these are the three checks what you have to do whenever you are inserting an element, right? These are the three possible checks what you have to look forward. So apart from this, again, a few more logical aspects are related. So that we'll be discussing when we go ahead. So this is aspect pertaining to the insert operation. So here we can just observe that there are two nodes which are already present, and you want to insert a new node. So first you create a memory location for this new node, and in the info field you store the data element. And you have the next field associated with this node, depending on whether you are inserting this before the first node or at the end of the last node or in between. So depending on this condition, you have to make the necessary adjustments. Now in this case, we can just observe that the element is inserted in between these two lists. So at the start, that is before the new node is added, you can observe that here N2, that is the next field of node 1, is pointing to node 2. Now, if I have to insert this new node in between, what happens is this N2 has to be updated. So this has to go and point to the new node. And in this field, right? In this field should help us to make a connection with N2. So here what we are doing is we are inserting the element in between. So you can observe what changes will be happening if I'm inserting the element in between. This field of node 1, that is the next field of node 1, should go and point to the new node address. And new node's address, that is the next field, should go and point to N2. So in this way, what happens is logical connection is established in the linked list. So this is with respect to inserting the element that is the new node in between. Now suppose if I want to add this element at the starting of the list. So there are two elements in the linked list. I want to add this element at the starting of the list. So here what changes will be happening? First, I should access what is the address of this, and that address parameter will be stored over here. So by this, what happens is you have the logical connection between new node and its immediate successor. That is node 1, what we are representing over here. So this is the update what you will be doing. And if you want to add it at the end, so only one change. So if I want to add this element at the end of this list, then what I do is this N3, which is there, I update its value with the address of this node. So by this way, what happens is you establish a connection between the last node of the previous case, that is N2, and new node. So in this way, new node becomes the last node in this case. So these are the aspects which are pertaining to the insert operations. Now let us look at what are the operation, what will be the steps that has to be looked forward when we are deleting the element. So as we have observed in insert operation, similar kind of observations will be there. Only thing is you have to get rid of the element which you want to remove from the linked list. So there you are inserting, here you have to remove or delete the element from the linked list. So when we are deleting an element from the linked list, first thing we have to identify the location of the element that you want to delete. So you have to identify where the element is located. So that is you need to get access to the address of that node. So once you get access to the element which has to be deleted, what we do is we either free that memory location. That is when we do memory allocation, if I want to get rid of that memory location, we free it. Or else what we do is we simply ignore in some of the cases. We ignore the element. But when we are doing these two operations, right, we need to still maintain the logical connection. We still need to maintain the logical connection. So here what is done is the link pointer, that is the next field. So if I am deleting an element, suppose if I am deleting this element, then what happens is there are 3 nodes before deletion. After deletion, there will be 2 nodes, but still I should maintain the logical connection between node 1 and node 2. So when I'm deleting this element, I should make it say visible such that I maintain this logical connection. So in order to do that, what is done is this field is updated with the address of node 2. So if I do it directly in this form, you are directly eliminating or deleting the element. So and still you are maintaining the logical connection. So you have to update this address. So when you update this address with pertaining to node 2, so you have disconnected this part. So you have eliminated this node in which is present in between. So this is a deletion operation. So again, depending on where the deletion is happening, this it changes. So you have to reset the next field depending on which element is being deleted. So there are again 3 scenarios in this case. So we have to check out whether the element that has to be deleted is at the beginning of the list or at the end of the list or in the middle of the list. So that is what we have to check out. So now if we just observe over here, we have 3 nodes which are logically connected. Now here, say in between the node 2, which is present in between the list, we have to get rid of this. That is, we have to delete this element or the node. So what we do is, so in order to delete this N2 field previously is pointing to node 2 address. So now what I have to do is I have to get access of the address of node 3. So node 3 address is available where? It is available in the next field of this node 2. So what they do is they update this address in the next field of node 1. So in this case, N3 will be there. So this field they take, they store it over here. So by this, what is happening is you are storing the address of the node which is after node 2, which is after node 2. So when you update this address, what happens is this element gets disconnected from the list. That is, it gets deleted or eliminated from the linked list. So by updating this value to N3, what happens is you are pointing to the next node, which is N3, that is after deletion. So that is what is being represented over here. So still the logical connection is being established. Still the logical connection is established. So apart from this, if I just observe that if I have to delete the first, that is the element which is present at the beginning of the list, then if I just observe, what I have to do is you will be having a first pointer over here. You will be having a first pointer over here. So this pointer in this case, what it will be having, it will be pointing to node 1. Suppose I want to get rid of this one, then what I do is I make this first pointer to point to this node 2. So how do I do it? I can access it through this next field of node 1. I can do that. So now what about the last node? If I have to delete this last node, so if I just observe, there is a last field what we have discussed. That is a special pointer which is termed as last, which will be indicating the pointing to the last element which is present in the linked list. So what we do is we update the address of this last value with the node address of the node value which is immediately before it. That is its predecessor. So we go and pointed to node 2 in this case. So these are the 3 scenarios what we can look out when we are deleting an element from the linked list. So we have an algorithm what we observe for insertion and deletion. So this algorithm will be useful when you're dealing with implementation of linked list using the C program. So here we have what we have is I want to insert a specific value. So we have given a name to the algorithm as insert, and this is taking a parameter which is termed as value. So this value has to be inserted within the linked list. So here again, we need to remember all the parameters what we have discussed in the previous session now. So we start off with the first step. Then next what we do is we set a pointer which holds the address for the new node. So what you're doing is you are creating a memory space, or you are reserving a memory for the new value what you want to add. That is a new node what you want to add. So you're allocating a new node and assign its address to the pointer. So you are taking the address of that pointer and you are address of the new node, and you are storing it in pointer in step 2. So what you're doing, you are reserving a memory location, and that address information you are storing in one of the pointers. Now what update has to be done using this pointer? So I know that this one is the node data type, what we had observed. So we have again two fields, info field and the next field. So that is the assumption of what we have made over here, that we have declared the structure and we are using that field over here. So that is so here we had declared the representation, right? So it is having two fields. So based on this, we are moving ahead that it has been declared. So here what we do is we take the address of the new node and store its address in PTR. So here we have created a memory location for new node, and in that memory location what we have to do is we have to store the info field or the info part with the value. So therefore that is what you are doing over here. Now so up to this part it is not that complex. Now what happens is, depending on where the element is inserted, or in this case they are inserting it at the end. Depending on where the element is inserted, you have to cross check all these parameters. So now in this case it is kept simple that you are adding it at the end of the list. So we are not complicating it over here. So first check what you have to do is, since you have to update the pointer informations, right? You have to update the first pointer, the last pointer. So that is all the parameters what we had discussed over here. So info is updated. We have to update next. We have to update first. We have to update the last parameter. So we have to check for all these conditions over here. So first check what is there. It identifies whether first is equal to null. So what is this checking? It is checking whether there is any element present or not. So if first is equal to null, if this condition is true, it gives an indication that there are no elements present in the linked list. There are no elements present in the linked list. So that is the indication what step 4 gives. If there are no elements, then this value what you are adding and the node what you are adding, these are the first, this is the first node what is being added into the linked list. So if this condition is true, you need to go to step 5. So as per this check, right, it gives an indication that if it is true, this is the first node what you are adding to the linked list. So based on this, if I go to step 5, what is being performed? You have to update the first pointer, since this is the first node, right? So pointer value, that is the address of the new node, is stored in the special pointer, which is first. And since this is the only element which is present in the linked list, it is a first element, it is a last element, which is present in the linked list. So therefore, what happens is, first, the special pointer first is updated with the address which is present in PTR, that is the address of the new node. And since this is the only element, even the last special pointer is updated with the same address value, since this is the only element. Because if first is equal to null is true, it indicates that there are no elements. So this is the first node what you are adding to the list. So therefore there is only one element. Therefore first and the last pointers are updated with the value of the address of the new node. So this is the thing what you are performing in step 5. So after step 5, if you just observe in step 6, what you are doing is, since this is the only element what you have added, that is, this is the only node what you have added. There are no other elements. So what you have to do is, info field you have already updated. Info field is already updated. Now I have to update the next field, right? If I have to update the next field, since this is the only parameter, what we do is we update the next field with the null. We update the next field with the null and then directly go to step 8. So wherein we stop this process. So if this is the first element what you are adding, so step 5 and step 6 comes into play. Now suppose if this condition fails. So when this condition will fail, it will fail when there is one or more than one element which is present in the linked list. So for example, if I have to go back. So here if I just observe. So if there was no node present, so first would be null, last would be null. That is, there will be no data over here. So first is equal to null if I just check out. So I get to know that there are no elements. So in this case, what I have to do is I have to update. So this is a new node what you are adding. So you have to get access to the address of this parameter and store that address in the first special pointer. And since if this is the only node which is present, then what we have to do is we have to update even the last special pointer with the new node's address. Now, if this condition was false, so if we just observe there are n number of nodes over here. If this condition was false, what would happen is first would not be equal to null. It would be pointing to some address value. So if that condition fails, then what we do is we add the element to the end of the list. That is what we are looking forward in the present algorithm. So if this condition fails, so what we have to do is if this condition fails, what we need to do is we need to go to step 7. So in this case, what we do is we come over here and we are inserting the element at the end of the list. So that is the only operation what we are looking forward. We are not seeking for inserting at the start or last. So we'll be checking for one condition. The other conditions you can just check out what are the changes which will be incorporated. So in this case, what we are doing is we have to add the element to the last. So what we do is if we just observe in this field. So if we want to insert the element after this, so that is, this is the last node in the previous this thing and new node has to be added after this. So here you can see that next this thing is pointing to null. So now what we have to do is we have to update the next value to the address of the new node, to the address of new node, and new node is the last node. Therefore, along with that, we have to update the last special pointer address value. So this has to be updated to the address of the new node. So these are the two changes what we have to look forward. And another change is we have to include the null pointer in the next field of the last node. So these are the three things what we have to perform when this condition fails. So therefore, the last pointer's next field is updated with the address of the new node, and this new node what you are adding, since it is the last node, its next field should contain a null. Its next field should contain a null. And apart from this, so once we perform these two operations, we get to know that this new node becomes the last element of the entire linked list. So therefore, what we do is we update this last special pointer with the address of the new node, which indicates that this new node, what is there, it is the last element which has been added to the linked list. So this is the operation pertaining to the insertion.